Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. सब लोग जोर से बोलिए। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. बोलो 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 सब सब लोग जोर से बोलिए। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
जयो राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरनिताय গৌরানিতাই গৌরানিতাই জয় গৌরানিতাই নিতাই গৌরা হরে বল হরে বল হরি বল হরি বল श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भाकते सद्म श्री गो श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भक्ति छद्म बंदमोई सावधान माते बंदमोई बंदमोई सावधान माते যাহারো প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভাব তরিয়া যায় যাহারো যাহারো প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভাবত দিয়া যায় যাহারো কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হয় কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়ায় গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে করিয়ায় আর না করিহ মনে আশা আর না করিহ মনে আর না করিহ মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে श्री गुरु श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आच्छा जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आच्छा चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु छे चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु छे दिव्य ज्ञानी दे प्रकाशिता दिव्य ज्ञानी दे दिव्य ज्ञानी दे प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होइते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति वेद गाय जहाँ चरित वेद गाय जहाँ चरित छे गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु छे गुरु करुणा सिंधु छे गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन हाँ प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पद छा हाँ प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पद छा एबे जात गोचक त्रिभुवन चेला प्रभु पात पतित पावन आतुआ पद लईनु चरण जय प्रभु पद प्रभु पद प्रभु पद जय प्रभु पद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद महाराज की नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे ગૌરવાણી પ્રચારિને નિર્વિશેષ શૂન્યવાદી પાશ્ચાત્ય દેશ તારીને जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Govijana Ballabha Girivaradhari. Govijana Ballabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana. Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Govijana Ballabha Girivaradhari. Govijana Ballabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana. Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajkacharishthira Sata Shri Srimad Goswami Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajkacharishthira Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Gangamayi Ki Jai, Jamunamayi Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we're continuing our reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. And we'll be reading actually 2 verses today. One has no purport, and the other does. So I'll read, this is chapter 16 of the 10th canto. Krishna chastises the serpent Kaliya, and I will read text 55. I'll just read it. Pratilabdendriya prana kaliya sanakair harim Krishat samitsha sandina krishnam praha kritanjali. Translation. Kaliya slowly regained his vital force and sensory functions. Then, breathing loudly and painfully, the poor serpent addressed Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in humble submission. Then text 56. This we'll chant together. Kaliya Uvacha Vayam Kala Sahotpatya Tamasa Dirgamanyava Svabhavo Dusyajo Nato Lokanam yad asadgraho Kaliyo vacho Vayam kalha sahutpatya Tamasa dirgamanyava Svabhavo dustyajo nato Lokanam yada sadgraho Svabhavodusyajonata Lokanam yada sadgraha Kaliya vacha Vayam kalasopatya Ladies, Tamasa dirgamanyava Svabhavodusyajonata Kaliya vacha Kaliya said, I am we, Kalaha, envious. Saha utpataya, by our very birth. Tamasaha, of ignorant nature. Dirgamanyavaha, constantly angry. Svabhavaha, one's material nature. Dustyajaha, is very difficult to give up. Nata, O Lord, Lokanam, for ordinary persons, Yat, because of which, Asat, of the unreal and impure, Graha, the acceptance. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Well, actually, no. The purport is translation are by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. The serpent Kaliya said, our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Oh my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature by which they identify with that which is unreal. Purport. Srila Sanatan Goswami points out that because of his wretched condition, Kaliya was unable to compose original prayers to the Lord, and thus he paraphrased some of the prayers offered by his wives. The word asadgraha indicates that a conditioned soul seizes upon impermanent and impure things such as his own body, the bodies of others, and other countless varieties of material sense objects. The ultimate result of such material attachment is frustration, disappointment, and anguish, a fact that has now become crystal clear to the poor serpent, Kaliya. Om Aginatam Rindasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangalangayate Gurim Jad Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Nataram Hare Krishna. So after hearing a wonderful discourse by Daiva Shakti Prabhu 2 days ago on the Leela of Kaliya, and after hearing yesterday's scholarly presentation by Smarahari Prabhu about different aspects of our Siddhanta, we now come to a subject which is easy for me, Asat. The topic of Asat. The topic of conditioned life. The topic of being in illusion. The topic of being in Maya. It's a topic very familiar to me, so I feel a little more qualified to sit here today and try to speak on this topic because I have a lot of experience. I have eternal experience. There's no beginning to my experience with this topic. And yet, even though I have so much experience with the topic of Asat, I still don't understand it. I still remain in the illusion that what I see before me and this body and this personality that people call Pancharatna, or Panch, actually, many people call me Panch, is me. It's not. But I keep hearing this and I still don't realize it. Kaliya is expressing the same dilemma. He's expressing his dilemma, the same dilemma, saying that it is so difficult. Now, we have here Shrutikirti Prabhu. He's written a book. Where is the difficulty? Oh, what is the difficulty? Okay, what is the difficulty? Oh, you see, what is the difficulty? Where is the... Common phrase of Srila Prabhupada. And yet I would ask every time you heard that, you say, Prabhupada, what is the difficulty? What is the difficulty? What is the difficulty? What is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult to give up our conditioned nature? Well, Srila Prabhupada does give us some response to that when he says that we have been conditioned since time immemorial. I mean, the conditioning, I've heard descriptions that it is something like if you were to try to find the soul, the pure soul, is something like trying to find a mustard seed within a cave, within the depths of an ocean, covered with water, covered with earth, covered with everything. Way down there, there's this little mustard seed. And we're going to find it. This is the depth of the layers of coverings. Conditioning is not just a coating. Like, well, I was just thinking about today, these walls. How many layers of paint are there on these walls? Panchagora may know. I remember some years back, they took it all off to reveal Sarabi's initial work, because he used marble dust, with powdered marble dust and powdered different colors, and thinking, well, this will be permanent and it won't need to be painted every year. But anyway, that didn't work out. But you have so many layers upon layer. Each time we take another birth, another layer. Each time we undergo some sort of aspiration, we desire something, and we endeavor for it, and we go through the experiences of the karma, we get another layer, layer upon layer of desire upon desire, experience upon experience, all of which is centered around the unreal, the impermanent. This condition of Kaliya is also described by Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita 16:10. Preparing for this class was fairly easy because the term asat is found everywhere. Asat. You look for asat and you'll find thousands of references. So one of them is here, Bhagavad-Gita 16:10. Kamana sritya dushparam dambamana madhanvitaha mohad grihitva sad grahan. So this same term, asat grahan, that Srila Prabhupada points out here, is found here in this verse. Grihitva asat grahan. Taking shelter, and this is Kaliya's predicament, taking shelter of insatiable lust, and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work attracted by the impermanent. So you have the exact predicament that Kaliya is describing. He has described his conditioned nature. He's described how his demoniac nature, envious. How does he describe himself? Envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Same thing that Krishna is describing here. Absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, illusioned. And what happens? They become conditioned, and Kaliya is describing his conditioning, to be identifying with that which is unreal. And in the same translation, the term asat is described as unreal and impure. These two definitions of asat, being unreal and also being unclean or impure, are used consistently by Srila Prabhupada. So we are all in this predicament. Therefore, Krishna begins his Bhagavad-Gita with pointing out this dichotomy, the real and the unreal. That which is, again, this is Bhagavad-Gita. Excuse me a second. My memory for verses is not so good, so I take shelter of these devices. 2:16, na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Sataha. Ubayor api drishtontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhihi. So, Prabhupada's purport, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no change. Thus they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So, asat, unreal, non-existent. Now this becomes a little more difficult. Oh yeah, it is illusory, it is temporary, but here we find that this illusory and temporary nature is actually described as actually not even existing. Now wait a minute. I perceive something, it appears to exist, but it's not existing because it is impermanent and unreal. It's an illusion. It's all an illusion. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking there's some person, body, wearing a yellow kurta. You're seeing this kurta, this body. We think these are real. We identify with these as being ourselves. They're not real. They're not actually even real. That is difficult. That is difficult for us to grasp, to catch hold of. Because how do we do that? What do we do if this is not real? If all of this is unreal, then what is? What's real? Is there anything real for us to connect with? We can connect this discussion to yesterday's discussion about the identity of the jiva. Who are we? What is our real nature? Kaliya talks about his material svabhava, and he talks about how he's envious and so on, and how it is so difficult for him because of his conditioning, his identification with being a snake. He thinks he's a snake, not just a snake, but the snake, the man. What is it called? No, there's a term for this. The goat. The goat. He's the GOAT. Now, Americans will know that. Maybe some Americans will know this. He's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. This was a term coined by another American. And it's caught on. So he's Kaliya, the GOAT, the greatest of all time serpents. Of course, real greatest of all time is Anantashesh, but still, in terms of serpentine behavior, Kaliya has got no competition. He is top of the snake. By the way, while I remember it, I do have one thing to add about Kaliya Lila, as I remember, which was explained by Madhavananda Prabhu, and I hope I get this right. He did a whole series of talks on Kaliya Lila, and he posed the question, if Kaliya was blessed by Krishna, he received such blessing, he became purified, why did he leave Vrindavan? Why did he have to leave Vrindavan? Madhavananda's response was the same that we have to leave Vrindavan sometimes. We have to leave the way Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan, we have to leave to preach. So Kaliya had to go back to, Ramanaka Island, so he could preach Krishna consciousness. Naturally, as soon as he got there, everyone knew, well, what did you do? What happened? You have a good opportunity. Anyway. But Kaliya is lamenting his material conditioning. So then comes the question, well, who are we? Yesterday we were hearing about the question about whether we are intrinsically, are we by identity, are we lovers of Krishna? We hear the term often discussed, dormant love of Krishna. So I thought that the next stage in our discussion today, we've been talking about what is asat. Let's talk about what is sat. What is real? And the response of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very clear. This I know, but not the whole verse. Jivera Swarupoy Nitya Krishna Das. That is Mahaprabhu's response. But he goes on. That verse is found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 20, 108 and 109. Jivera Swarupoy Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash Suryamsa Kirana Yaise Agni Jvala Chai Svabhavika. Again we have this term Svabhavika. Krishnera Teen Prakar Shakti Hai. Shakti Hoy. Translation. It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire, Krishna has three varieties of energy. And here we see three varieties of energy, but then we're going to hear about four. And I thought this is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation that Srila Prabhupada gives can answer this question. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these verses as follows. Sri Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who am I? So this is our question too. We've come to this hearing, we're hearing that it is all unreal, it's all what we perceive, our identities are our illusion, we think we're these bodies, We're not the body. We're eternal. Who are we? We're eternal something. We're hearing that the real, to be real, for something to be real, it must be eternal. Krishna equates reality with eternity and unreality with impermanence. Anything that is impermanent in Krishna's definition and in the Shastra's definition is asat. It is unreal. If it has no permanence, it is unreal. That is the Krishna's direct definition. And what is real then? We know everything we're seeing, all our experiences, our bodies, we know these are impermanent. I think, right? Maybe Dharmatma is an exception. No, there's no exceptions. There's no exceptions to this rule. Well, they say that the exception proves the rule, but there's this one that there's no exceptions. Every body is impermanent. It will die. It will go. It's not only impermanent in its life, but it's impermanent at every moment. It's changed. Dharmatma looks pretty much like he looked 10 years ago, but there's some change. Of course, I'm ever youthful, so everyone is. No, if you look inside all the teeth that are missing, you'll really know how it's changed. But yes, the bodies are changing, the personalities are changing, everything is changing, and it's all impermanent. So what is real? And Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now answers this. What is actually real? What is the real identity? Sanatana Goswami is asking this question, who am I? And the Lord replies, you are a pure living entity. You're a pure spark. You are neither the gross material body nor the subtle body composed of mind and intelligence, because that's the next stage. It's a little, okay, you look and you see, yeah, okay, I can understand I'm not this body. Because, yeah, okay, Prabhupada used that very simple child play, which is still effective for us, where he said, he was with some children, I think it was in Philadelphia, I'm not sure, and he asked the children, so, point to your hand, right? Point to your elbow, point to your knee. He was telling them like this, point to your head, point to your arm, point to your stomach, point, like this. He got them pointing. And then he said, now, point to yourself. And they were like, yes, it is your hand, it is your leg, it is your head, it is your body, but you are different. So it's a child's game to understand we're different from our bodies. Simple truth. But then to distinguish between the mind, I'm not my mind, I'm not the thoughts, I'm not even the personality that I have cultivated over so many years. I'm sitting here speaking to you, and yet there's a difference between me, actual me, and all of this work and activity that produces the words and the sounds and the thoughts that are now coming out. Srila Prabhupada actually reflected that when he was translating, it was Krishna. Now, I'm not in his position. And yet, Krishna does say to all of us, Sarvasya chaham, hridi sanivishto, matak smritir jnanam apohanam cha. He says that I am giving you remembrance. I am giving you knowledge. I am giving you forgetfulness. So even I'm sitting here and I'm speaking and I'm, well, actually I have to, he gives me these too. It's Krishna. So who am I? So we continue. Actually, you are a spirit soul, eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, Krishna. You, me, we are all parts of Krishna. Therefore, you are His eternal servant. So this is the logic that is the basis for the what Smarhari was talking about. If you go, I did listen to it, and I do recommend it, Sundar Gopal's exposition on this topic. And what was the name, Smarhari? Muni, something. Mahavala Muni, something like that? All right, he knows. You can, I can't hear well, but it's something like that, Mahavala Manikal. So he describes the qualities of the jiva, and he concludes with the quality of dasya, servant. And the connection here is there, that the surup, the quality, the nature of the part, the constitutional nature of a part is to serve the whole. That's logical. Parts are designed to be servants of the whole body. So we are parts. We're all tiny parts. But we have a specific position. Therefore, you are His eternal servant. You belong to Krishna's marginal potency. So we are parts of Krishna, but we're a specific part of Krishna. We're all specific parts. We're part of His marginal potency, meaning, and Srila Bhaktivinoda describes here, there are two worlds, the spiritual world and the material world. And you are situated between the material and spiritual potencies. You have a relationship with both the material and the spiritual world, therefore you are called the marginal potency. You are related with Krishna as one and simultaneously different. Because you are spirit soul, you are one in quality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but because you are a very minute particle of spirit soul, you are different from the Supreme Soul. Therefore, your position is simultaneously one with and different from the Supreme Soul. So here we have it. Here we have the answer. What is Sat? What is actually real? The reality is we are eternal sparks of Krishna. The reality is that everything we see, everything that we perceive, everything that exists is Krishna's energy. We have a relationship with Him as His servants. And for us, the fundamental reality, the reality that we must now become attached to. We have been attached to the unreal, to the asat, for eternity. Now, by the grace of Guru and Krishna, we've come into some awareness of the real world. We've had a glimpse. We've had just a little touch with the real world. And now we must convert our attachment from the unreal to the real. By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Naam bina kichu nahi kohar. Choda bhuvana majay. The real is Krishna Naam. That is our immediate access to the real world, the holy name of Krishna. That is real. That is truly real. And that will cleanse Cheto Darpana Marjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavaru Jivanam Anandam Bodhevardhanam Pripadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All the dust, all the layers that are as deep as the crust of this earth can be cleansed away so that we come into full awareness of our real identity. Parts and parcels of Krishna, His eternal servants. That's all we are. Hare Krishna. So, little something that I'm familiar with, asat. Of course, still working on it. We keep on going, we keep chanting, and bit by bit, Krishna peels away the layers. We begin to see ourselves, who we are. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. If there's some questions or comments or additions, realizations.
Bhakti-yoga Thakur said there are only two things that are real in this world, the holy name and the jiva. So when we're chanting, like you said, that's reality.
That's
we're
reality.
There, as the jiva and the holy name is there.
Hare Krishna.
So it also seems just like Prabhupada, the morning walk in Mayapur, when he looked up, he said, we see the bomb coming, we say, here is Krishna. So he makes unreal real. Prabhupada saw Krishna everywhere.
Yes.
Flower, this is Krishna. So how can we say that it's all illusion when the pure devotee sees the exact opposite?
Prabhupada in another place I was reading was talking about this principle of the sky and the clouds in the sky. That the sky is permanent, but the clouds come and go. So the basis, the foundation, the fundament of everything is Krishna, is real. But the appearance is illusory. The impermanent appearance of heat and cold, happiness and distress, all these things are unreal. So what we perceive is the unreal, and what the pure devotee perceives is the real. He perceives everything in connection with Krishna, therefore it becomes actual. The actual reality becomes revealed. But when we see it in terms of our enjoyment, and how we can enjoy our senses, then that's unreal. That's my understanding, is that it's all in the angle of perception. When we see through the eyes of love of Krishna, then the material world becomes spiritual. Ultimately, it's all Krishna. But we have to have those eyes. So now we have so many cataracts covering our eyes. We have to cleanse and obtain that premanjana, the anjana of love, by which we can see everything. Everything is Krishna. And everyone. It begins, I would suggest for us, it begins especially with seeing every person, every living being as part of Krishna. Every living being as a wonderful expression of Krishna's unlimited energy. And to love everyone as Krishna's children. If that formula could be applied in this world, that is Prabhupada's message. Now we're in a similar state in the world today as in when we were. I mean, who would have to have such a war going on today? We just didn't, but we had it, at least we were there in the 60s, early 70s in the Vietnam War. And we talked of the peace formula. So now we have, again, urgent need for us to spread the peace formula, recognizing Krishna. Bhoktaram jagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutam suradam sarvabhutanam, the friend of everyone. Gyatva mam shantim icchati. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Haribo, Hare Krishna, Dandavad. You'll please excuse me, we're leaving today back to Mayapur, and it was a short visit, but after 2 years of lockdown and so on, but now hopefully the world will be won't go crazy again, and we'll see you soon. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai.
Hare